Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today I want to do the Stormblood quest for the Black Mage. Let's look how far I come, or how reasonable it is to do 1, 2, or 3 episodes. Probably 3, if other Stormblood job quests are any indication. Anyway, Shades of Shatotto. Ah, Desiree, I'm glad you're here. I will consult with you about a matter that has been gnawing away at my mind. Thanks in no small part to your efforts, the books of Nald and Thal have at long last been reunited in these halls, their long-lost secrets just waiting to be unearthed. Though I have scarce begun poring over the tomes, I have already made a most remarkable discovery. Each of the twin tomes contains a cipher of sorts, the meaning of which could only be deciphered when the two are referenced in tandem. I will spare you the details of how I unraveled the research, though it truly was among my finer moments, if I dare say so myself. At any rate, the words, once decoded, are most evidently an incantation, albeit one entirely unfamiliar to me. Beneath it was writ a simple directive. Heir to the dark arts, speak these words unto Nald's reflection, that memories long forgotten may stir anew. As to what precisely these words are referencing, your guess is as good as mine. Still, Master Kukuruka doubtless preserved the incantation and the accompanying message in his records for a reason. And if we're not the heirs to the art of black magic, then who is? So I trust I can expect you at Nald's reflection. And do try to hurry, yes? I would prefer not to delay any potentially epoch-making discoveries any longer than necessary. And we get a battle. And that is all you need to know. When I give the signal, you are to chant the words precisely as I instructed, understood? Now, Desiree. That light! You, yes. You shall serve as a bringer of destruction. As for my vessel, yes, that one should suffice. Lalai? Huh. Whatever was that strange sensation? For a moment it was as if a great fire burned within me, and then... now, it is as if my very mind is being rent into... And this voice... Different eye color? Well, well. It feels good to walk the earth for the first time in 2 millennia. Seems that old Coot proved himself useful after all. If he hadn't kicked it, I'd find him and give him a pat on the back. And what are you gawking at? You're a black mage, are you not? Surely you possess the common sense to recognize the woman who stands before you? Or will you be needing a hint? Huh? Some would call me Death's Handmaiden, but I always found that particular epithet so needlessly morbid. Though technically speaking I am but a manifestation of a memory, you may call me by the name I used in life. Shatotto, at your service. But I jest, of course. It's you who are at mine. I must say, with What is it with black mages today and these unwieldy hats? Do they truly believe it makes them look more imposing, or are they merely compensating for something? In either event, I have no need of such adornments. And a little Easter egg, because without the helm, Lalai looks exactly like Shatotto from Final Fantasy XI. Or almost, because the Tarotarus in Final Fantasy XI had that button nose. Now that's more like it. Desiree, was it? Of course it was. Now if you're on a first name basis, you'll have to tell me all about yourself. On second thought, let's skip that. Time is short, and to be honest, I don't particularly care. At any rate, as I might have mentioned, I'm not the true Shatotto as she once lived, but rather a manifestation of her memory. My memory. Needless to say, that still makes me the most powerful sorceress currently existing in your world. You do well to remember that if you ever have a mind to cross me. Well then, now that we've gotten the pleasantries out of the way, what do you say we have a little fun? Prepare to be blasted into a gazillion itty-bitty pizzas! Oh, come now. Must I spell everything out for you? I must know if you are sufficiently adept at the dark arts to help me forestall impending doom. And this is by far the easiest way to do so, not to mention the most fun. Prepare for a world of pain. Alright? Do try not to die, will you? I have need of you yet. Right. Fireball. You don't think that was all I had up my sleeve, did you? Come, my minions. Show this one the meaning of pain. Greed. Ah, damn it. Wasted. Is that all you got? Did I choose the one puppet? Oh, come now. This was supposed to be easy for you. Despite everything, Scathe is useful when you're soloing. Ah. More power, more death, more destruction. Not half bad. That painfully dull expression on your face had me worried, but I suppose you'll do after all. Do for what? Try to keep up, will you? I abhor repeating myself. Let me start at the beginning. 2,300 years ago, the greatest mage our realm has ever known, that would be me, compiled a choice assortment of the most potent offensive incantations and evocations into the school known as Black Magic. You still seem puzzled. I also devised a spell that would allow my memory to one day return. My reasons were twofold. For one, I simply had to see for myself how the art of destruction would be handed down eras after I had inevitably passed. For another, I knew that without my guidance, this realm would one day meet most certain... Oh, this won't do. I had thought to go stronger than this, but these eyelids grow heavy and my consciousness wanes. I suppose I'll just have to take a little nap. But remember this, my puppet of destruction. You have an important role to play in the battle to come. A battle that will decide the fate of your very world. Till next I wake, shirk not your study of the art. Huh? Desiree? Where are we? It's as if I just woke from the strangest dream. And yet, my every limb aches as if my respite were more exhausting than the fiercest of battles. Did you perchance observe anything odd happen to me? Yeah, you got possessed. Preposterous, or so most would say. But you have no reason to tell me falsehoods, and would certainly explain the curious symptoms I find myself experiencing. Shatotto, the mother of our dark art, she who pursued the power of destruction to and beyond any limits that could ever be conceived, has her consciousness truly taken up residence in my own mind? It's no use. I call out, but she does not answer. Whether she slumbers or simply deigns not to answer, I cannot say. I fear I'm at something of a loss. Let us return to the sacrarium and clear our heads. Mayhap the answers we seek will yet reveal themselves to us. Back to the starting point. I'm afraid it's no use. I have called out to Shatotto within my mind time and time again, but I met only with silence. If only Master were still here, surely he could shed some light on the matter. After all, it was he that recovered for posterity the words we used to summon forth Shatotto's memory. Wait, that's it! Master himself may not be here, but his writings may yet contain the answer to our queries. It was within the statue of Nald that the memory slumbered. This does not strike me as a mere coincidence. I believe that settled it. I will return to the tomes and seek what knowledge can be gleaned, that we might prepare ourselves for whatever task awaits us. This holds for you as well, Desiree. Whatever Shatotto's motives for returning to us, I cannot shake the feeling that ill happenings are afoot. I suggest you resume your studies with the utmost urgency. The next Black Mage quest will be available from Lalai upon reaching level 63. Golems Gone Wild. Ah, Desiree, good. For better or worse, it would seem Shatotto still is enjoying herself a peaceful slumber. In the meantime, my study of the books of Nald and Thal has proven rather enlightening. In particular, I was surprised to learn that while the statue in Nald's reflection is a relatively recent construction, in historical terms of course, the goblet it holds in its hands is quite ancient. It would appear that it was within that vessel Mr. Shatotto's soul was sealed away. Master's record goes on to state that the inner surface of a goblet is inscribed with a message in the glyphs of ancient Mhach. It reads, ah yes, here it is. The power of destruction that rent the baleful star and peace of rain near and afar. Yet 23 centuries hence shall it come anew, and certain doom is sure to ensue. A prophecy of sorts, it would seem. It's been roughly 2300 years since Shatotto founded black magic, which means it is entirely possible she herself left the inscription. But whatever sort of doom could the prophecy be referring to? I fear it is all rather cryptic. Lalai, and Desiree as well. I would speak with both of you at once. While I would like nothing more than to catch up on old times, I come bearing grave tidings. My friends, pray lend me your aid. Well, if it isn't our favorite gobble-headed hero, I would have thought the seventh hell would freeze over before you cast your lot with purveyors of destruction. What have we done to deserve the honor of your groveling? There's no time to jest, Lalai. The situation is most dire. Why, a veritable horde of crazed golems has burst forth from the lost city and is wreaking havoc on the Trollswood even as we speak. Whatever foul sorcery led them to abandon their orders and run rampant, we cannot say, but one thing is certain. If we do not deal with them, and do so swiftly, there's no telling what damage we might inflict upon our forest home. That does sound like cause for concern. Very well, I suppose it would not kill us to put the matter of Shatotto aside for a moment and, Wait, no, not now. I say, how can that girl think straight with this ungodly fools kept weighing her down? Or perhaps you can't, and that is why, but of course, it all makes sense. Oh, hello there. Did you miss me at my prodigious intellect? Of course you did. Now look, we haven't much time, so do try to keep pace. This search of ether, just who or what are you? Yes, I'm sure there's so much you'd like to know, but where would that get us? I've already heard all I need to know through the girl's ears. We are needed in the South Shore, yes? Rampaging golems, was it? Indeed, I have tasked a whaler named Alfine with looking into the matter. With any luck, he has gleaned some knowledge which might avail us in plotting a suitable course of action. Alfine, South Shore, yes, I believe a great Shatotto has all she needs. Well, come now. No point in standing around like gawping gobboos when there's work to be done, right? Right. Shatotto. Desiree, I'm most grateful for your aid. Do not get me wrong, but if there's anything that you and Lalai have been keeping from me, mark my words, I will hear of it in full when our task is done. Keeping is such a strong word. It's not like we're deliberately hiding something. Ah, that's so much easier to think without that excess bulk weighing on my brain. For the life of me, I never understand people's obsession with extravagant headgear. Neither do I, Shatotto, so... The sheer etheric energy I feel exuding from the girl is nothing short of astounding. Could it be that Cap was reigning in her true power all this time? Welcome, friends. You come seeking news of the golems, yes? Would that I had any to give. I fear not a single one of the creatures has manifested itself before mine eyes. So you say, good man. But is it not possible that you do not see the trees for a forest? Sometimes that which we seek is right before us and we need only attune our vision. Why, is it just me or do I spy a number of curious stone structures peeking out from the brush? Yes, I have an inkling that our foe may be hiding in plain sight. But just how is one to distinguish living stone from a more ordinary type? Why, I do believe a former would take far less kindly to being scorched with a burst of hellfire. So the plan is clear, yes? Let's get blasting. If I understand the woman correctly, the golems have disguised themselves as ordinary stone, and she means to unmask them by haphazardly incinerating every rock in the wood. Well, I suppose it's as good a plan as any. Aren't you suspicious, little stone? Done. Yeah, they're not hiding very well, I think. There's a calmness in the air. Yes, I do believe the danger has passed. I thank you, friend. Is our friend quite well? I only saw her from afar, but it was as if the girl took some perverse pleasure in causing as much distraction as she could master. That was fun, wasn't it? Now, while I'm not fond of repeating myself, it seems I shouldn't make an exception for the slower members of our band. You have the privilege of standing before the Archmage Shatotto, or rather, a memory of the same which has awakened after years of slumber to rescue your realm from a fate most dire. Slower, Lady Shatotto, if that is truly who you are, I cannot deny your arcane prowess, and yet there is much about this matter that does not sit well with me. Pray explain yourself. What is this dire fate of which you speak? Oh dear, you really aren't very smart. Very well, I shall begin from the, beginning. Dear me, did I almost rhyme? Who does that anyway? Shatotto does that, by the way. Anyhow, the tale begins some 2 millennia ago when the great civilization of Mhach was still in its infancy. Our scholars ascertained that a mighty comet, awash with unspeakable ethereal energy, was on course to strike our fair home and reduce it to so much rubble. And so I thought to rectify the situation the only way I knew how, by blasting the foul rock out of the sky with the most powerful destructive magic our realm had ever seen. This, more than anything, was what spurred me to developing the art of black magic as it is known today. Needless to say, my plan was a remarkable success. A massive chunk of the comet was shattered, knocking it clear off its path and sending it spinning harmlessly off into the heavens. The story, however, does not end there. Fragments of the meteor hurtled to and embedded themselves in the earth. While small enough that their impact caused no significant damage, they remained beneath the surface, brimming with etheric energies, just waiting to be unearthed. Needless to say, these otherworldly stones drew the attention of mages far and wide, who sought to claim their powers for their own. These are the stones that gave the golems their souls, by whose power many a city-state flourished. And yet, these stones held yet further secrets. When 2 of them were brought together, they would call out to one another, Aether reacting to Aether to augment their mutual powers to still greater heights. Mind you, the power of mere fragments, even in a heightened state, would be far too meager to be cause for concern. One threat, however, still lingered. What if a comet, the Mother Stone as it were to return, its circuitous orbit bringing it in shouting distance of our world once more? Would not its remnants, its children, summon it hither in all its destructive glory? Preposterous! Did you want a black magic not nerf a comet clear across the skies? Why, it is simply inconceivable that its new path would bring it around back in our direction. inconceivable to feebler minds mayhap, but not my own. In fact, I posit that the comet is drawing nearer every moment, and it is for this very reason that the golems are now running amok. If left unattended, the implications for this world would be calamitous indeed. Fortunately, you have an ally in the impending battle, a prodigy who foresaw the danger that was to come and sent her memory into the future, that she might return to save the day. Do you mean to say that you predicted that this threat would come, over 2,000 years ago, mind you, and devised an incantation for the sole purpose of allowing you to return to us in our time of need? I do believe I already said precisely that. Of course, I did not do it entirely on my own. The spell would have been lost to history if crazy old Kukuruka hadn't dug it up when he did and recorded it for posterity. Dear little Lalai and Desiree also played their parts as well. Oh, how wonderful it is when one's followers, against their natural tendencies perhaps, manage not to make an utter mess of things. I must admit, the whole story still strikes me as a bit far-fetched. I mistrust neither your motives nor your skill, Lady Shatotto, but as a hero charged with the protection of this wood, I cannot leave this matter alone. I will accompany you and offer what aid I can, but first let us return to Ul'dah. I would hear more of a plan you propose before we take action. Must you? Very well. Just promise you we will not get in the way. Now come along, my puppets. I have a realm to save and you're going to help me. It does not appear the sorceress means us ill, but I still do not feel entirely safe in her presence. And whatever has she done with Lalai? The hero assures me that there have been no golem uprisings elsewhere, and since he clearly is too thick to tell a convincing lie, I'm inclined to believe him. That means that we still have time to form a plan of attack. I do pride myself on my honesty, and so I will be honest with you when I say this. Your art is, to put it kindly, not looked fondly upon in our day and age, and your story stretches the limits of believability. We cannot stave off this calamity alone, but any entreaties you might make are not like to find a receptive audience. I, on the other hand, have friends in positions of some prominence. I shall reach out to them and see what aid they are willing to offer. How charming. He actually thinks he might prove himself useful. In your spare time, might you not ask your astrologian friends if they have any recent calculations on the comet's path? I have no reason to doubt the accuracy of my own, of course, but I was working off 2 millennia-old data. As you wish. Forgive me for being so forward, but I might inquire as to the well-being of our mutual friend Lalai. She is still in there somewhere, yes? Oh, she most certainly is. Worry not, the girl's consciousness is just enjoying a short respite. Which reminds me, I really am due for a nap myself. Be a dear and do try not to let things go to hell in my absence, will you? Shatotto, mother of the art that brought the great floods upon us. Has she truly returned to deliver us from doom? The progenitor of our esteemed art has chosen me as her vessel in hopes of saving our world from a falling star? I can scarce imagine a greater honor. Come this way, we must put our minds together and figure out how we might best do her bidding. Wait, Lalai. If we take her word at face value, Shatotto has only the realm's best interest at heart. And yet, I for one remain skeptical. Which is not to say I doubt her intentions, or yours for that matter, and yet, we speak of a founder of a very art which gave rise to the War of the Magi and the Sixth Annual Calamity. Could it not be that even in seeking to save our realm, she is like as not to destroy it? Blasphemy! Why, Lady Shatotto has long since passed when the war broke out. Only a blind, blustering half-wit would even think to hold her responsible for... though, when I put it that way... I understand this, and that is why I begrudge neither you nor her my aid, such as it will serve to protect the realm's peace. At the same time, I intend to keep close watch on her. One can never be too wary after all. In any event, I will gather what knowledge I can on the threat we face, and I would be most grateful if you could do the same. Might I suggest speaking with your beastmen allies? If the idea has not already occurred to you, that is. I swear that man is made of harder stone than any golems. Still, at least he's cooperating with us, which is progress of some sort. In any event, I will reach out to our beastmen friends. I encourage you to return to your studies in the meantime. If one thing is clear, it is that the task ahead will test us to our very limits. Alright, I think I make a cut here, end this episode, and we continue this next time. Until then, I'm Ace, and don't get lost.